Too loud again?
I can't hear you, man.
Oh, you don't get the headphones on?
No.
What's going down? This is DanYo&Tita podcast.
Yo.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2. Episode 11.
Episode 11, definitely.
Going down. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, man.
We got a new member to the team. Nate the Great right here.
Nate the Great.
Nate the Great. Can we give Nate the Great a round of applause?
We interviewed Nate and Nate joined the team.
Yeah. Said he's sticking around.
Tita's not here today, but we live DanYo&Tita podcast.
Yeah, she left me high and dry today.
Yeah, this is the second time, but it's all good. We got a special guest. Oh, man.
I don't know about special.
Very special.
You special, man.
Special. Regular guest.
No, you special guest.
Man,
I'm a star.
Right. Nah, man.
You a star.
Nah, man, stop it, man. Stop it. I'm your fan, man. I want to be like you, bro.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Huge fan. Yeah, definitely.
Big fan of yours. Ladies and gentlemen, tell them who you are. I'm gonna allow you to introduce yourself.
Man, that intro, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't even know what to do with that. But my name is Gello, man. I mean, what do I tell them what I do or what? Something like that?
He I have no clue what to
yeah,
do
man.
here.
My name is
on the spot.
My name is Gello, man. I'm a big fan of DanYo&Tita.
No, don't do that.
The YouTube reviews. No. You know, I love everything that he's doing on social media and online, and he invited me in to come and sit down for an interview. So.
Number one morning show in Detroit. This talk, man.
Number one.
Listen, man. It's a lot of hard work, man. You know, initially I was here in Phoenix,
right.
You know, doing radio here, and I did nights and I did afternoons at Power 98.3.
Yeah, we listen. Now we're gonna get into that.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's what I don't know what you want me to say, man.
You're going too far. We're gonna get into that. This, you know. As you're a big supporter of yours, I definitely catch your live feeds, your videos.
Thank you, brother.
Posts on Facebook.
Yeah, hilarious.
For a while.
Thank you, man.
Definitely watch your moves, inspired.
Definitely.
Especially us right here.
Definitely.
So,
what's crazy is you watching me, but I'm watching you.
Watching each other. Man.
Yeah, man.
That's how you grow. You work together. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So let's talk about your radio career, where you started, or let's say how did you know that you wasn't getting to radio?
Man, you know, I've been recording radio since I was in like 8th grade.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I used to hear this dude. You probably know him. His name is J×3. You remember J×3?
Yes,
yeah.
Bro, I used to hear Jay, like even to this day, Jay is like one of the most talented radio personalities on planet Earth. Right? So I would listen to Jay, man, and just record his shows. And I used to tell my mom, my family, I'm like, man, I can do this. I want to be on the radio. This is something that I'm passionate about, something I want to do.
Yeah.
And it took a while, man. I was struggling, broke, ramen noodles, hot dog. You know how that goes. And I was working
college trio, huh?
Exactly. And I was in a relationship with my wife now, but she was my fiance then at the time. Her name is Sarah. And I had a job.
Sarah.
Shout out to my wife, man. I had a gig at the state of Arizona, the motor vehicle department, right?
Oh, okay.
It was a good job. I just got that bad boy. I was good. And I applied for an internship at Power. And I think I was like 23 at the time.
Yeah.
And I got the internship and I quit my job. And my lady was like, nah, we're not doing that.
Unpaid intern?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
That's how you know when your other is a real one.
Yes.
And you know that you quit that job.
So, a few payday loans later and whatnot, man, my wife, she was so supportive. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have been able to do it. You know what I mean? But I quit my job, man, and was working for free as an intern.
Wow.
And I've done every job in radio that you can possibly think of outside of like being in sales.
Right.
I've done, I was an intern. I was doing promotions. I did weekends. I was on overnight, midnight to 6 a.m. every single day.
Wow.
Like that's how bad I wanted to be on the air. My old PD at the time, her name was Carly Hustle.
Oh,
I remember.
You remember Carly? So one day when I was in promotions, Carly came to me. We had an event that day, and she was sick. You know what I mean? She was like real sick, so she couldn't do the event. I'm in promotions. I don't know anything about hosting, but I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
So Carly was like, man, I can't do this event. I got to go. And it was a PlayStation. I was like when the PlayStation 2 dropped.
Well, right.
She's like, I can't do this event. She's like, I can't host it, but I don't want to miss out on this money they pay me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, look, let them pay you and let me host it.
Right.
She was like, you're not going to embarrass me. I was like, please let me do it. I didn't know what I was going to do, what I was going to say.
I'll volunteer and do it for free.
Right?
Yeah.
So I grabbed the mic and just started messing around with the parents and the kids and, kept it real, family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day I went in, Carly came to me and was like, you're not in promotions anymore.
Oh.
I was like, damn, did I get fired? Did I do something wrong? I was panicking, sweating. She's like, you're not supposed to be in promotions. You're supposed to be on the air. You're a personality.
Right.
Yeah.
So she pulled me out the next day, man, and threw me on overnights.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's dope,
Yeah.
man.
It is
She
dope.
got a lot of people into the game.
she did, man.
She
Carly's
got a lot of
responsible for a
people.
lot of people, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know her personally, but just outside looking in from everything, I saw that she was helping a lot of people out to
Yes.
get them
A platform. Yeah.
to be able to do their work and get out there. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, she did, man. She definitely did. And she told me straight out, she's like, you want to be on the air? I was like, yeah. She was like, well, you're not touching the microphone until you learn how to run this mixing board.
Wow. Yeah.
And she was like, most people it takes 6 months, 8 months. It might take you a year, but you'll get used to it. Man, I learned that board in 2 days.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was about that.
Yeah.
Everybody that was on there, I was sitting in there writing. I drew the entire board out on a piece of paper and studied every single button. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do it right. If you're passionate about it, give it your all, right? So I memorized the board to the point to where I could close my eyes and know exactly where everything is. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I wanted to do my whole life, man. Now I have a shot to prove that I can actually do it. So
How did you find your voice that you decided to go with? Was it something that you was naturally, or it was something that you kept working on over time to try to get a voice that you really felt good about?
you know what, man? If you listen to like my old air checks,
Mm-hmm.
I was terrible. Like, sorry. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, I still feel like there's so much I need to learn.
Right.
But I was trying to be J times 3. I was trying to be Howard Stern. I was trying to be all these people I looked up to in radio. And I sounded like an idiot because there's only one J. There's only one Howard, right? And I realized I needed to be myself. And man, I'm cheesy. I'm a nerd. I'm a cornball. I'm not the coolest guy in the world.
Right.
I'm not trying to be the flyest. That's just not me, man. I like comic books and comic book movies. And so I figured I'm just going to be myself and allow people to either love me or hate me. And it turned out more people actually loved me than they hated me. And
everybody love you.
that's what it was about. Now, hey, man, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a couple people right now. There's a couple people right now who in this city, and I grew up in this city. This is my hometown.
Yeah.
That called me whack, cornball, stupid, fat, idiot, dumb. And there's a couple people that you know, Daniel. There's a couple people that you know that you rock with that I'm not hip hop enough. And they usually be my own people. Oh man,
Are you for real?
you too cheesy, you're too white, you're not. And it comes from my people, which kills me the most because
That's wild, man.
you want to represent your folks the best way you can. But I get hate a lot
that's
because of
Arizona,
it.
though. That's Arizona though. Everybody like
It's just
secretly
it's
hating, man.
It's just the world.
You think it's the world?
Everybody has a stupid ass opinion.
Facts. That's all facts.
They all have an opinion.
Yeah,
And
that's all
it's
facts.
just horrible, and they want to give their little opinion, man. It doesn't matter. The thing is that some people think that we're black people are, in a certain.
You're supposed to be in a certain
Everybody's
box.
supposed to be a certain
Right.
way to be black, and I love it when we are a rainbow. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're not all supposed to be the same.
Absolutely.
There could be some that's ghetto. There's some intellectual. There's some smart
Right.
ones. There's some nerd. I
Mhm.
love it. And
Just
I
like
think
in
that,
kind of, for example, like hip hop music. There's so many breakdowns of it. You know,
Right.
so you got
Yeah.
nerdcore, you got
Yeah.
hardcore hip hop,
definitely,
all different styles.
it's love. It's all love.
I
man.
want to do this. Give us your top 10 radio personalities.
Top 10 radio personalities.
We're gonna get back into your life story.
Howard Stern's at the top of that list, man.
Howard Stern.
And should I tell you a little bit why, or just give you my top 10?
Each person tells why.
Howard Stern. I don't know if Howard Stern has an ability to always seemingly ask the right question,
Mhm.
or if it's just his chemistry with guests.
Right.
Like nobody, I've never heard anybody interview better than Howard Stern.
Right.
Like he get these guys to open up about their lives, their sex lives, their relationships, their drug abuse.
Things that you wouldn't normally talk about in
front
of people.
And you'll have like
stuff that's real personal.
Definitely.
Like Barack will show up and somehow, some way end up talking to Barack about doing drugs. I'm like, how you get Barack to disclose all this information before anybody else, you know?
No, he's dope.
So definitely Howard Stern. Ebro is one of my second favorite personalities.
Ebro.
I love Ebro.
You like Ebro?
I love Ebro.
You like Ebro?
I love Ebro, bro. I know, and the reason why
Asked that 3 times.
I'm sorry.
you hate Ebro.
I don't like Ebro. I really don't, man. I try so, and it's not that I don't want to not like him. It's just I try. It's not working for me.
Right.
I don't even like Rosenberg. I like his hustle though.
Right.
I respect his hustle.
Right.
I respect all their hustle. I'm not a big fan of it.
I like Ebro, man, because you're either gonna hate him or you're gonna love him. But Ebro he's himself.
Right.
That's who you're gonna get that Ebro either on the mic or in person at the subway. But that's Ebro.
I mean, I respect Ebro.
Yeah.
Definitely respect him.
I
can't, man. I can't.
Can't get with it.
I can't get jiggy with it.
I cannot get jiggy with this. Third, it's a show that I love. It's called Dave and Chuck the Freak. It's a group of cats out of Detroit. You got to check them out, man. If you don't laugh at least 32 times in 10 minutes, something is wrong. And I like that kind of radio that makes me feel good. Right. So definitely Dave and Chuck the Freak. I'm also a big fan of, man, there's so many radio personalities, bro. There's so many top dogs in the game. Elvis Duran, another one. Okay. I'm a big Charlamagne the God fan.
Yeah, I like Charlamagne. I like Charlamagne back a couple years ago, Charlamagne.
See you don't like Tom. You don't like tamed Charlamagne. You like, wild, crazy, over the top Charlamagne.
I understand it.
Pass more interviews and things like that. He's getting presidential interviews.
Yeah,
and things like that now. So
Steve Harvey probably will be round out the top 5 list.
No, Steve is dope.
He's one of my guys. One of my best friends, Bootleg Kev.
Definitely. Yeah.
Kev is extremely talented.
Another person that put a lot of people on.
Yes.
Definitely did.
My guy, one of my mentors, Joey Boy.
Okay. Definitely.
Joe Beasley. That's one of my. If you ever want to learn radio from somebody who just knows it and gets it, you just sit and talk with Joey, dog. Joey can teach you so much about radio. Huh?
That's what we need to do. We need schooling.
Bro, Joey will come in here, man. Hit him up. Tell him to come through.
We're gonna get him.
Where am I at? 8? I need 2 more. I would say Fitz. Fitz is a like country music radio personality, but when you listen to him, it's not a country music show.
Right.
It's just Fitz being Fitz.
Okay.
And I would say my last and final number 10 is probably
Is that number 10?
That's probably gonna go Steve Harvey.
I think
Did I say Steve?
You can't say Steve.
I can't say Steve again.
Unless you like him that much.
Damn, top 10. Where am I at? 9?
Yeah.
I'm trying to round out the list of 10. Tom Joyner. It's another one.
Definitely.
Who's about to retire here pretty soon. Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
Ricky's gonna take over for Tom Joyner. So yeah. Okay. So that's the top 10 list.
Can he feel those shoes?
Ricky Smiley?
Can Ricky Smiley feel Tom? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude's been on since forever. He's been on forever, at least 50 years, I know.
Yeah, Tom's been killing it for a minute,
man.
bro.
He's been great forever. And he's really good, man. I like Tom Joyner's show.
Man, that was different. That's probably the hardest thing I think I've ever done. Give a top 10 list of radio personalities. I can't even remember half of these dudes half the time.
Man, that was a good job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do that on the spot.
No star.
No. You saying Star is one of your favorites?
Star is one of my favorites, man.
Man, you know what I realized? I'm learning about Daniel. He likes those controversial shock jocks.
I do. I was even this. What's his name? Tom. Hey. I forgot his name. But he'd be like, blow me up, Tom. I forgot his name, but he's another dude that's just controversial. I like when you say what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying? Say, get in trouble by the radio people. I don't care.
Yeah, but you do know a lot of these people just saying what they saying just
I know.
just so they can get that reaction. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So when you were based out here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's crazy. A lot of radio personalities always start off as interns.
Yeah, you have to. I believe it seems like.
Is that a requirement for you to start off as an intern, or?
Nah, not really, man. You know, back in where I'm doing radio now, doing mornings in Detroit, there's a school, there's a radio broadcasting school.
Really?
Called Specs Howard. And everybody that I know that's currently in radio out there went to Specs Howard.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So they went to school for it. But I think where they go wrong is they're teaching, they make you feel like when you leave school, you're going to get on the radio.
Right.
Radio is a different beast. It's a different game.
Right.
Versus just being on the mic or doing like podcasting is totally different from radio.
Oh, definitely.
You got to know how to podcast. You got to know how to do radio. It's a different game. So
I'm definitely learned that since we started. You know,
right.
We're like, oh, I didn't know it was like this.
It's different.
Right.
It's different.
I didn't know it was gonna be like this. You know what I'm saying?
So no, I don't think you have to be an intern. There's different avenues, but I feel like being an intern will allow you to learn the game properly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
so you were on was it the beat or was it?
I was doing mornings at Power, then went to the beat to do
Power,
mornings.
then went to the beat.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh, man, do you want me to tell this story on live like this?
Yes. Yes.
One thing, do any of you guys aspire to be in radio outside of podcasting? Because you know this is where radio's going,
definitely.
By the way.
I love radio. I remember when I was a kid, I always wanted to do radio.
Yeah.
This is the lane that podcasting is probably what I would stick to.
This is where it's going.
Yeah.
This is definitely where it's going.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I did nights. I did afternoons. I had some success there. Morning. What people don't realize is morning radio is different.
Definitely.
It really is.
Morning radio is different because you're dealing with a different audience, right?
Right,
It's not about the music anymore.
Right.
It's more so, can you connect with your audience?
Right.
Can you relate to your audience? Can you be real and transparent? You have to be an open book. Like and this is going to sound crazy over the top, but if I find out I'm HIV positive, I need to be willing to go on the air the next morning and say I'm HIV positive like that. You have to be an open book.
Yeah.
Sometimes you work with people and you're in a working relationship. I call it a prearranged marriage, right? Where chemistry just don't click.
Right.
Like the girl I'm working with now, blonde, white girl, big boobs, tall. When I first met her, I was like, hell no, I'm not doing this radio show with her.
I remember seeing a post about this.
Yeah. I'm like, we're not going to jail. I'm a big black. We look like the number 10 standing next to each other, first of all. I'm a big black dude. This is tall, skinny white girl. But she's literally become one of my best friends. So we have a chemistry.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. We have chemistry. Me and my old co-host, D. Garcia, we didn't have chemistry. And the audience could hear that.
Right.
And when your audience hears that disconnect, they're like, no, I'm not messing with this.
How long were y'all doing the morning show together? How long was that?
We did mornings for a year.
Well, yeah, just never.
It just didn't work, man. You know, like I said, mornings is hard, man.
Yeah.
It's unlike any other day part of radio you'll ever experience in your life.
Yeah, that's tough.
You got all the moms taking their kids to school,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
You have to be extremely careful what you say, how you say it.
Definitely. So the connection wasn't there. So how did that move? How did after that?
I walked into my boss's office at the time. I hate saying boss. That's like the worst word for me, bro. I hate it. But I mean, truth of the matter is he was leading the show, right? He's the leader of the ship. I walked into his office and I'm like, look, man, it's not working.
Right. Wow.
I can't work with this girl. She can't work with me.
Yeah.
Clearly, we don't like each other because we fought every day.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a difference of creativity or where you want to go with it, right?
Yeah, fine. It definitely is.
I'm a little bit more over the top. She was a little bit more conservative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I want to talk about
even page,
wait, say again. I'm sorry.
you have to be even on the even
Yes.
page.
You know, I want to talk about my son shaving his pubic hairs.
Right.
Because as a parent, that's what happens in my real life. My son comes
right.
to me and he's like, Dad, I got this large amount of hair around my jaw. What do I do?
Yeah.
Parents deal with that. If you're a dad or a mother, you know what that's about. Your kids, when they are teenage, they ask those questions. If I wanted to talk about that because it's real, she would say, no, we can't do that. That would turn moms off. I'm like, but my wife is a mother.
Right.
And a listener of this radio station. She is the demo. So she gets it.
Yeah. They have sons.
You definitely understand your demo.
Definitely.
So there was this. It was a difference of creativity, and we just didn't get along very well. So I went to my boss, and I was like, "It's not working," and he was like, "Well, you're fired."
Wow. Just like that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, "You're fired." Now I do think they also were, and
They
they
get me mad over here, man.
bro, they're gonna kill me for putting this out. If they ever see this, they're gonna kill me. But I'm transparent. I'm always gonna be honest. They were together. They were in a relationship.
Oh, there you go, right there.
So I can't expect him to defend me. This is his lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be if my wife was working with me, I'd
That's
be like,
why
"Oh,
you don't do that.
Yep.
DanYo&Tita podcast got behind the scenes. I'm just trying to know. Let y'all know.
That's you don't.
But you asked me, I'm telling you the truth. So they was like, it's got to be you. It's either going to be you. At one point, they gave me the opportunity to go back to afternoons. They was like, "Do you want to go back to afternoons?" I was trying to move forward in my career. I'm like, I want to do mornings.
Right.
So that's what it was, man.
Wow.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Man. You got me. Dang.
Please, I hope. Hey D, you know I love you. I respect you. It's business. I don't take it personal.
Oh.
Plus, I'm in a way better place right now in my life,
You
man.
are, man. Number one.
It worked out.
Number
Stop
one.
it, stop it, bro. Stop it.
Number one. Number one. Before we continue with that, is there a different? What's the difference between morning radio, afternoon, midtime, and then evening? How's that? How the ratings work, and what's more the prime?
So night radio is for the younger demo, right?
Okay.
So you hear a lot of current music, newer music at night, and it's musically driven.
Right.
So if you ride the beat well and you can talk over an intro over a song and give out some dope prizes at night, chances are you're gonna have some great success.
Okay.
Afternoons is kind of the same because it's PM drive, so it's a high drive time.
Right.
So there's more people listening.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to at night you got 30,000 people listening, anywhere from 30,000 to 70,000. In the afternoon you can have anywhere from 300,000 to 405 and maybe a million.
Oh, wow.
Right. And in morning radio, it's about the same, even bigger. But with afternoons, just play the music, give them some current events, and you'll have some success.
Right.
But in morning drive, when you're listening, most people want to hear this, right? Because you're driving, you want to hear some current events, what's going on, what's the latest thing, what happened last night.
Right.
And if you get on the air in morning drive and you're not connecting, so I say something the wrong way that you don't really agree with, you're gonna judge. You don't know me. You're gonna turn it off.
Right.
The same people that listen in morning do not listen in the afternoon.
Right.
The same people listen in the afternoon do not listen at night.
That's crazy.
So you're talking to a whole different audience with kids early in the morning. You have to be extremely careful with how you deliver it and what you say to somebody. So mornings, it's hard to succeed in morning radio because people automatically judge you. If Joanna goes on the air and talks about, my co-host, she goes on the air and talks about, she took a nude photo of herself and sent it to the wrong person. She meant to send it to her husband, who she's been married to for 20 years.
Right.
Keeping the relationship alive is what you do.
Right.
She sent it to the wrong guy. And the guy opened the snap and was like, talking about it and whatnot. So Joanna went on the air and spoke about it.
Yeah.
And ladies immediately, oh, can I say?
You can say whatever you want.
You're
Whatever
a whore. You're a floozy. And they judged Joanna before they got to
Even
know
though it was
her.
a mistake.
No, even though they're sending them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not. It's not like they're not sending them. To their man.
But they don't care about the fact that she's married for 20 years.
Right.
When you know how women are, right?
Right.
You go into a bar, say there's 6 women at the bar, one woman walks into the bar, all 6 of them are gonna be like, girl, look at her shoes.
Right.
Look at her hat, look at her
She got
shirt.
It's
That's
after
just
Labor
women.
Day. Why she got that on?
Right. And since my demo is all about women,
And I'm the first one to pick it out.
see,
Babe,
you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
what this bitch got on?
So see how judgmental. So you gotta ease them in and give them a chance to get to know you before you give it all to them.
Right.
So it's difficult.
Oh, definitely. Oh, this. I want more of that spice, man. I want more of that story.
Oh man,
So they let you go at Power.
they did.
And what's the transition after that?
So I got let go at Power, and I want everybody to know being fired in radio is not a bad thing, right? So remember that if you're ever thinking about getting into radio, if you don't get fired from at least 3 different radio stations, you didn't have a career in radio.
Most most of the best radio personalities got fired.
Yes,
At least
everybody.
3.
Yeah.
You don't have a career in radio unless you've been at least 3 different radio stations.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So it's a good thing to get fired.
Definitely.
Because it opens the door to other opportunities and it teaches you it's a little piece of humble pie, man.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you was feeling yourself a little bit, but now look at you, dog. You're broke. What you gonna do? So I made that. I left there, and then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? What's the next move for me? I thought Power was it because I'd been there for 10 years.
Right. Wow.
My life came crashing down.
Right.
Like, this is my passion. Everything I wanted to do just ended.
Yeah.
And I kind of went into like a recluse stage where I just didn't do anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at home watching ESPN Sports Center, you know, eating ramen noodles, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life.
Right.
And then my wife actually, I was putting together an air check because I was gonna send it out to see if anybody was hiring.
Right.
Man, I sent 20 air checks out. Nobody called me back. So at that point, I'm like, damn, do I suck? Am I not good enough? You start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
And then I played some breaks, some different breaks for my wife, and I had my wife critique my air check. I don't like that. Oh, that wasn't funny. Okay, that was too much. So I took every break that she liked and I put it together.
Wow.
You know, it was like an interview with Anderson Cooper. There's a couple good things on there. And I sent it out and boom.
Wow.
Overnight, I had 5 different job opportunities. So when you listen to your lady,
You had a
That's
second
your
pair of
business
ears
partner.
come in and
Exactly.
listen to it.
Business partner.
exactly. So I listened to her and I had a few different opportunities, but I didn't take it because my son and my daughter were in school here in Phoenix.
Right.
I didn't want to take them out, so I ended up going over to the beat for little to nothing. I just didn't want to take my kids out of school,
Right.
so the money wasn't the thing. I just wanted to make sure that I was still on the air
Right.
because it's easier to find a job when you got a job.
Mhm.
So I ended up going to the beat, man, and I loved it over there. I learned so much about myself over at the beat because it wasn't about the money. It was about the passion of doing radio. So, and then I was at the beat for about a year. And at that point, I told my wife, I was like, it's time to make a move. It's time to make a transition. And I got an opportunity, man, for way more money than I'd ever heard of in my life. I was like, you gonna pay me to do that?
Wow.
Is radio good money?
Well, there's a yin, what is it? Yin and yang. There's a yin and yang, right?
Right.
So don't get into radio looking for money.
Right.
Definitely.
Like, don't get into podcasting looking for money,
Definitely.
right? Money will be a byproduct to your success and how hard you work.
Exactly.
So there is money in radio, but you're not going to get it initially, and it's going to take you some time to finally get that payday.
Right.
But when you do and you've earned it, you'll feel better about yourself. And I earned the right to make a little bit more than what I was making in the beginning of my career.
Being from Phoenix, you born and raised here?
No, I was born in Chicago,
Oh, okay.
but I moved here when I was 12, dog. So I'm from Phoenix. I don't care nobody. Yeah, you from Phoenix,
Right.
dog.
I'm from Illinois myself, but
Y'all don't.
when I'm from Southern Illinois.
Ah, you from the burbs.
Yeah. I'm from East St. Louis. So when you moved to Detroit, were you kind of like a little nervous, like coming from Phoenix to Detroit?
Yeah.
Bro, I was, right? When I told everybody I was going to Detroit, a lot of my boys like Bootleg Kev, Ramses, they was like, dog, don't do it, dog. You're going to die. They straight up told me that. I'm at the club trying to enjoy my last little hoorah before I get out of here.
Oh,
Dog,
man.
don't take that. You're going to die when you go to Detroit.
Right.
The thing is, the east side of Detroit is just like the south side of Chicago. It's just like the south side of Phoenix. Every place, every city's got that spot, right? It's got that spot. But Michigan is beautiful, man.
Really?
Yeah. They just show you the bad parts.
Exactly. That's what you see. Michigan is beautiful, man. The Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, Detroit is a beautiful city. And I made sure to talk to like one of the dude. His name is Trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit Trick and I was like, look, man, no disrespect. I don't want no problems with nobody, man. I just coming for the opportunity. I know where I'm at. And he was like, listen, man, as long as you respect my city, we won't have no problems.
Right.
So he kind of gave me the green light to do radio there pretty much. And I did think something was going to happen to me, bro. I ain't going to lie.
They say you got to check in with Trick.
You have, bro, let me tell you something.
you
You have to.
Really?
Do not think you're going to come into that city and get money and not check in with this guy.
That's great.
And I'm not that dude. I'm not a street dude. You know what I'm saying? I can defend myself if I need to. You know what I mean? But I'm not out there looking for problems or fights with anybody.
Right.
And I think as long as you approach it from that angle, man, they'll be okay with it. But I was terrible. I was a little scared.
You had to check in with Trick.
I did, bro.
Wow.
I did, and I checked in on Twitter so everybody could see it. Like I wasn't hiding the fact.
Checking in. I'm new here.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
I wasn't hiding the fact, man. And the guys there, like my guy Reggie Reg, my girl Sugar Ray, my dude DJ De Niro. These are big names in Detroit, and they accepted me with open arms. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Because I immediately got into the community. Like that was my thing. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna get into the community.
I definitely see what y'all do.
We as a community need to look up to Detroit because what they do for their artists and what they do for a lot of their people, man. We need to look up to them and see them.
They definitely support their artists and musicians.
They do a lot, man. And when it comes to opening companies and businesses for Black,
they hustle.
They support hustlers and they support each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Definitely.
And that's what we need to be about here, more about supporting each other and having each other's back, man. With Detroit, it should be
I definitely know because you go out into communities.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. I think there was a charity couple of events y'all been to. And...
So we called it the 105 Random Acts of Kindness, and we just recently finished our 105th. So I took the number off, and I'm like, and now it's the Gello show's Random Acts of Kindness. Man, I mean, we've raised thousands of dollars for the Salvation Army. I mean, when it comes from pets to kids in foster care, I just knew I needed to be in the community, so they knew that I wasn't trying to capitalize off of their city. I'm a human being at the end of the day. Like this is America, first of all, and I'm a human being at the end of the day. So I want to be involved in your community. So whichever way I can help, it's what I wanted to do, man. So I dove into that, just trying to help and be a part of the community, feeding people, and so it's been big. And I've gotten a lot of love and respect because of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
I remember when you made announcement you would go over there. So did the radio station put you and Joanna together? Was that the idea or how that?
So it's a crazy story, bro, because I went out there to do mornings, but they ended up something was going on. So they put me in afternoons because they're like, you're not from Detroit. Detroiters aren't going to listen to you because they love their own. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And I didn't believe that. I'm like, listen, as long as I respect people and show them love, I'm sure it will be reciprocated. It'll come back tenfold. Right. It's like, nah, they're not going to rock with you. Detroit is all about Detroit. Yeah. And they are. They hardcore Detroit. If you're not from there, you have a tough time like getting in with anybody.
That's crazy.
So my guy, his name was Al Payne. I love him to death. Al hit me up and he kind of talks like this. Hey, man, so there's this girl, and her name is Joanna, and I was wondering maybe you guys could work together. And, look at the videos and tell me what you think. And hangs up. Yeah. You know me, I love people. I like meeting new people. So I'm like, yeah, cool, I can do this. So I look at her stuff on social media, and I'm like I told you, I'm like, dog, there's no way. This girl's probably at Starbucks every other day. She like got Chanel purse. She is nothing like me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's nothing like, but it's not going to work. So I called him back and I'm like, man, hell no, it's not going to work. We got to do this a different way. Yeah. And so we sat at a bar that night to meet each other. And I'm telling you, man, like her first of all, her mother was a Detroit public school teacher for 37 years. I found out she was adopted. So, and she comes from a neighborhood in Michigan that's not the best. It's called Southfield. And she's so down to earth. I wish she could have came and, been on the podcast with us because she's here in town. She came with me.
Why you didn't say nothing, man?
Bro, we came for the game. She's a Lions fan, I'm a Cardinals fan. We came for the game. And
next time, y'all, hey, just get it.
Right. So she told, we met and I loved her, but she was supposed to just be my board op. She was supposed to just run the board until I got, acclimated with the board and then I could move on. And I told my boss, I was like, look, man, this station needs to be urban and suburban. It needs to speak to both sides of the city. Yeah. Both white, black. It needs to be a multicultural radio station. Yeah. I was like, if you want to get to the suburbs and you want to talk to the white soccer moms that got, this is the epitome of that.
Right.
Yeah. She represents that tenfold. So why would you not want this girl to be on your team? Well, she's not really what we consider a hip hop. I'm like, that don't matter. It's all about being a genuine person. Be yourself. Right. Yeah. And they love Joanne. They fell in love with her.
And bring that different to her.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
They love her, man. Now when they see her, hey, Gello, anyway, Joanna. You know what I'm saying? So.
And how long y'all been on the show now?
Well, we're going on our third year together.
Third year.
Man. Yeah.
So it's been 3 years. A person that's not from Detroit.
Right.
3 years in the game now over there. Number one.
That's crazy.
It took a minute, bro. It took actually, man.
How did that happen? How you kill the game like that?
And man, it's your idea really to put the show on the show and put you guys together.
Yeah, I think that's what brought them. Yeah, putting them two together.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have like the right answer. I'm a firm believer. Like I'm a religious guy, right?
Right.
And you know how they always tell you, like, follow your intuition, your first mind. The first thing that comes to your mind, follow it, because that's usually, I call that your God mind, right? When you hear that first, okay, this is what you should do. Don't second guess it, because you tend to do that multiple times and you always make the wrong decision.
Right.
So when you get that God mind, you get that first idea to do something, you go with it, and that's just what I do, man. I follow my gut. Like, even when somebody tells me, oh, that's not right, you can't do that, don't say that, I always follow my gut, and my gut has led me this far. Yeah. So I don't know if I have an exact formula as to why we had success. I just knew we were going to be transparent, we were going to be honest, and we were going to work our ass off. Right. Nobody was going to outwork me, period. Yeah. You might have more talent than me, you might be funnier, but you were not going to outwork me.
They're not funnier, definitely not funny.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, man.
Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Forgive me. I'm a radio personality, so this is what I do.
That's what we do.
Okay.
That's what we brought you on for.
For the people that don't know about radio, what something you said, what is exactly is an air check?
Oh, so air check is basically when you do a break live on the air, like, hey, it's Gello. I'm over here shaving, doing whatever, right? So you take that clip. It's usually a program that's recording it. You take it and you put it on an MP3. Okay. And an air check is typically no more than 2 minutes long.
Okay.
You want to start the air check with like your funniest. You want to be funny in the beginning. You want to make people laugh in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing an air check, you're sending it out. You want them to laugh. You don't want it to be long. You want whoever's listening, trying to hire you, to know who you are within 30 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
You know, we have so it's a 7-second attention span. So you got to catch people in 7 seconds or you lose them.
That's crazy.
Radio becomes background noise at that point. So if I don't say something to catch your attention in 7 seconds, you're gone forever.
Wow.
So you have 7 seconds to catch someone's attention, 30 seconds to get a job.
Wow.
So you put your best, most funniest content in the beginning. And I think my first air check, I somehow got an interview with Anderson Cooper from CNN. Wow. And I asked him about Donald Trump. And I was like, man, do you know what this dude, do you really believe what's coming? And he just died laughing. And I'm like, that wasn't even funny, was it? This is a genuine question, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I put that in the beginning, and that caught my PD's attention. Yeah. And then I talked about getting in the gondola ride. Self-deprecation is the most important thing when being a radio personality. Because I was like, damn, man, me and my wife, we going over to Italy. It was our first time overseas. And I'm like, I think I'm too fat to fit in a gondola ride. I'm like, what's the weight limit for a gondola ride? And so my producer at the time, Oh Jesus, who's doing nights now, he was producing for the show. He's like, yo, I got the information here. He typed in and he's like, the weight limit for a gondola ride is 250 pounds. So I was like, I guess I ain't going on no damn gondola ride. And they died laughing. And at that point, I was like, that shit is not funny. Why are y'all laughing at this? So that's that. You want to put the funniest content in the beginning, catch their attention in 30 seconds. Yeah. That's how you can get it. How you get a gig.
Shout out to Oh Jesus.
That's my boy.
He invited us to the radio station 2 months ago. So,
that's my boy.
So, you know, I remember this is my story. You know, I knew I wanted to do some type of radio.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, I had cassette tapes. You could, little piece of paper in there. I used to record the songs off of the radio and then stop it, talk in between. Or we go into commercial, stop it, record a song off the radio.
Really?
You know, that's how I knew I wanted to be exactly do something
right
in radio. And you know, I didn't intern like you and all that.
Yeah.
So is there any story that you knew this was the right thing for you, or you knew this was your life?
You know what, man? I don't think damn, you some damn good questions, bro, because I don't really know how to answer this.
I'm trying to step it up here, and you see how it looks.
It do look clean, bro. I think when I realized how this is what I wanted to do is when I first got my ratings book at night. I was number one at night, and when I first inherited,
at night?
Bro, we were at night. I was in 15th place.
Wow.
At night, so I was getting dominated. And then I got on, and within the first 3 months, I was number one. That's when I knew, like, okay, this is I can do this.
Right,
you know what I mean? I'm good. If it was at 15th and it would have went to 16th, 7th, I would have probably quit.
I told you, you've been number one, man.
I've been number one multiple times, bro. Multiple times, man.
You know what you're doing,
Right?
You know that.
I think so. I think so. But there's still so much to learn because now, I know how to do nights. I can do nights with my eyes closed. I can do afternoons well, but I'm still learning how to do mornings.
Right.
Because not in morning drive, you're not just doing radio. You're competing with Howard Stern. You're competing with heritage morning shows that's been around for 20 years. Now, you think about morning radio, it's the same thing between Burger King and McDonald's. If you've been eating McDonald's,
you're gonna keep eating
for 20 years.
Right.
Like your favorite sandwich is the quarter pounder.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, man, try this Whopper.
Right.
Nah, dog, I've been eating the quarter pounder for 20 years. I'm good. I don't want the Whopper.
Right.
That's how radio is.
Right.
Getting someone to stop listening habitually to another radio station and listen to you, that's the hardest thing in the world to do, man.
Are y'all syndicated?
We are not. We are not syndicated. Detroit is a very much local market, and they don't like syndicated shows. Like the Breakfast Club is syndicated there. They don't do well.
Yeah.
They don't like syndicated shows. If you're not from Detroit, first of all, they have a problem with accepting you if you're not from there. And on top of that, if you can't get involved in the community, if something like the weather's a big thing in Detroit, in Michigan, right? If you can't talk about the weather, you can't talk about school closures, you can't, people don't relate to it.
Yeah.
So
I'm 50-50 with syndicated. I like the local talent.
It didn't do well here either, did it?
I don't think it.
they didn't.
It's on what it's on. It comes on like
I don't
2
think
in the morning.
It was on the beat.
Yeah, it was on the beat.
They didn't do well.
I like more of the local, just personalities. You know, like I said, we interact with each other. I can't talk to Charlamagne.
Right.
Definitely. Most definitely. What's the next move? What's the next move for you think?
The next move is to get syndicated, man. I'm working on a relationship with Premier Networks, which is they're responsible for syndicating Elvis Duran, I think Big Boy out in LA. And I'm working with a couple of guys over there. And my next move is to be nationally syndicated. But for me, I don't want to be syndicated. Number one, I want to get paid for the syndication. You know what I'm saying? I want to get paid. And number two, I don't want to be syndicated and people not love the product or love the show.
Right.
So if I'm in Ahwatukee or if I'm in Wisconsin or wherever I am, I want people to listen and be like, I like this show.
Right.
And until the product is solid and 100%, then I would rather just hold off and keep working at it.
Okay.
Yeah,
man. I watch your videos and everything's funny. I see you go to the movies by yourself often.
I do, bro.
Do you like going to the movies by yourself, or
is it just your me time away from the old lady?
Like I said, man, I'm a nerd, man. I'm a nerd, bro. And things that interest me won't really interest a lot of people. But I do go to movies by myself, man. And I always thought it was like corny. Like, why are you at a movie by yourself, man? You think people are gonna look at you? Like, I'll go out and eat. I'll go out to eat by myself. I
make fun of those people.
See what I'm saying?
You open my eyes to go to the movie by myself. Tita has too many dang questions.
That's where it started, bro. That's where it started.
That's where it started.
My daughter, she always got like something to ask or something to say. My son asked him, Dad, how's this character? How did he get this superpower? Right. My wife all the time, she drunk halfway through the movie anyway. So she having, you know what I mean? She laughing and acting a fool. Yeah. So if I go by myself, I can focus on the film. Right. So what I'll do, I'll go see a movie by myself first, then I'll go and take everybody else with me. Right. You know what I mean?
Too many
questions. Right. Round two, I'll go with family.
No, I thought that was interesting about you.
So I love tell us about these skits y'all. I see you've been doing lately too. You've been doing some type of skits or from the green screens and all that.
Yeah, we do a lot of skits, man. We try to do like I do skits like when white girls break stereotypes or parent problems, which is our new thing that we're doing right now. Parent problems, like we got into it. We were talking about on this new skit. My daughter, whenever she eats cereal, she throws out the damn milk, and that bothers the hell out of me. I'm like, what person don't drink the Cocoa Puff milk? What is wrong with your psyche where you don't drink? Oh my God.
She's an eyeball, so
first of all, we drinking almond milk, so that's already expensive enough.
And I still don't drink it.
Why even have cereal?
That's the best part.
You just want the cereal, but you don't want the milk.
Cereal milk's fire.
Cereal milk is the best.
And I do this at work too. Like I faithfully do this.
Cereal milk bottle. That's his idea.
Yo.
Like, at work, I go and I have either cornflakes or Honey Nut Cheerios with almond milk.
That's why.
That's why you eating the wrong cereal. That's why.
You know, my job, they only offer healthy cereals or whatever. So I'll eat that with the almond milk because I'm not even gonna fuck with 2% milk. That's just
water.
right.
White water.
Shoot.
Yeah,
but I still don't drink the milk. I eat the cereal, but I don't drink the milk.
Yeah,
I just,
well, you don't
I go pour the milk out.
You pour it out?
Yeah.
Ain't that disrespectful?
Yeah,
Don't you
it
feel it's her milk? It's her milk, but don't you feel disrespected
It
by
is,
what
like,
she's doing right
You
now?
just wasted it. It seemed like,
You telling me you pour the milk, pour the cereal, eat the cereal.
and he just pour it out.
Pour out the milk and wash my bowl. Yeah.
We gonna have that conversation.
Disrespectful, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you another thing she's bad at, man. Her chicken wings, man. You know, have you seen that post when the person
still
only
meat left on the bone.
half of the chicken wings,
Yeah.
she on meat all over the place?
Yeah.
That's her,
Wait,
man.
just like a bite and
Just one. It's like 2-3 bites off the chicken wing, man.
Aisha, what's going on right now?
Man, I mean, it's
That's so
disrespectful,
wasteful.
man.
So wasteful.
I'm just looking at her wings like,
He did that to me last night. He was like,
right.
"That's
We
all
go
you
to
gonna eat
we
off
go
the
to Valley
chicken?"
Wings on 19th and with Greenway.
Yeah.
Shout out to them, and we go get us some wings. You know, hook it up for Friday, and she eating half of the wing, man.
Half
they,
the wing?
You know they good.
What?
So, you know,
I don't really like.
You in court right now. You in court right now.
Hit it with the music. Don't.
Della's over here looking at you. Like, what's going
That's so disrespectful.
right?
Look, I don't like the gristle part that be on the end.
So she don't even want to. She don't even want to bite.
You know, there's a kid right now in Somalia that fire on that bristle.
Love the. They eat the gristle for real. They put like a little flavor in.
Yeah, on the
and
gristle.
On the
The
gristle.
texture of it just
Man, that's that crunch.
freaks me
That's that
out.
extra
Right,
crunch.
You
yeah.
got nibble on that right
That's
there.
that extra
I
crunch.
can't do it. It weirds me out.
But
The
we'll
texture.
she'll eat gummy bears all day, not knowing that
That's bad.
That's
the same, it's the
bad.
same thing,
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the gristle.
It's-
You
yeah,
know,
it's the
that's
hoof,
same
yeah.
thing. That's
all
what
it
they
is,
make it
blend
from.
up, yeah.
But
But the texture of the gristle on the chicken is different.
I know.
I'm talking about chicken.
Did anybody get one of them sandwiches, man? Because I still didn't get one, bro.
No.
I had 3 of them.
Did you really?
All y'all talking about Popeyes? Y'all late. Me and Tita did that 4 months ago.
Yo, I saw that review.
Yeah, y'all
Late,
did.
man.
Super late.
It
Super
was
late.
fire, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
I still
And then
can't get
4
it.
months later, they take it off the
Yeah,
menu.
No, it's still on the menu.
Isn't
they went crazy.
They said it was obviously they ain't got no more chicken, but they said they're gonna bring it back.
Bring it back.
dude held up the? Did
Yeah,
you see
gas
that?
is-
He held the place up. They had no
Yeah,
more
yeah.
chicken.
Bro, it get like that
pulled
sometimes,
his-
man. When you hungry, dog, they gonna run out of your chicken, man.
Right.
Our chicken spot run out of chicken. That's come on, man.
right.
That's all you do is
Right.
chicken.
Let's get a couple more questions, then we're gonna do some segments, and then we'll go from there. What advice would you give people like us who aspire to do podcasts and radio and all that?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man, because I know when we first stepped in, we were like, so what are we gonna do? And you're like, yo, we gonna vibe out. Now I understand that because clearly you want to,
Yeah.
but the key is to overplan.
Yep.
And then from over planning, then vibe out.
Yep.
Like you want to plan things meticulously.
Right.
By the second, by the break. The second you open your podcast, you got 7 seconds to connect with them. So you want to tell them, hey, this is what we're going to discuss
Right.
on this podcast, because I know it sounds crazy and redundant, but people, they live their life through this.
Yeah.
They do.
So if you can't give it to them,
Mhm.
they're not going to listen. They're not going to, they're
Yeah,
not
catch
going
it.
to sit with it. They're not going to process it.
Right.
So,
I'm always on my phone, so I'm guilty.
Yeah.
of
See what
that,
I mean?
so.
and you read title, like you'll read a caption. Like right now, CNBC says Sony just did one thing it couldn't afford to do, enrage Spider-Man fans. So now I want to click that.
Right.
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 Because I'm enraged already.
That's exactly what you want to do with the podcast. You got 7 seconds to say something to connect with your audience.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And you want to meticulously plan out every single minute of the show and then vibe out.
Yeah.
You study that plan so well that you vibe out that it seems seamless, right?
Mhm.
But you got to plan it out, bro. You got to plan it
I
out.
agree.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Trust me, you got to plan it out.
I
Daniel's like,
wanna
man, get the hell out of my,
Listen.
get off my
Nah,
podcast.
man. I need to plan that because
No, you do.
That's especially when we today, this is our first time in the building, so definitely have to get things right. We're new to all this, so
yeah,
definitely we're gonna be hot though.
Yeah, definitely planning, man. And then I would say that another thing is just figure out who's going to be consistently on the show so you can build a brand for each individual.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah.
And establish who's a guest. Like, how you say, yo, we got a special guest. Establish who's the guest, but find the characters who are going to be on the podcast because you want your audience to develop affinity and relationship with these people. Right. They might not like Daniel. They might like you. They might not like you. They might like her.
Right.
So you want to make sure you have clear roles. Like they call it the dork, the deer, and the dick.
Definitely.
Right? You need somebody who's just goofy, funny. Yeah. And that can be everybody. It can be a little bit of everybody. Right. You need somebody who's goofy, funny. You need the deer, the one to be like, okay, all right, relax. That's a bit much. Right. And then you need the dick, somebody who can just be honest like a Charlemagne and say whatever it is. That's why the Breakfast Club works so well.
Because that is you.
Yeah, that's a mix between a dick and Nate.
Play your role, man. Play your role. You need it. You need that. But that's why the Breakfast Club is so successful because they got that formula. Is that my man, I-Rock?
Yeah.
I-Reezy. What's up, bro? I'm good, man. Let me have the studio.
What's up, I?
So that'll be my advice, man. That'll definitely be my advice. The character development, knowing who's established on the show, who's a guest, and meticulously planning it out. Right. And at that point, taking the plan, study the plan, and now vibe out with that plan in your mind.
So how do you and Joanna kind of like, do y'all, how do y'all prep? Y'all do morning shows. It's like, how y'all prep for the next day like that?
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, brother. There's a few things we got. So there's a few trade secrets in radio that we don't really tell or discuss to our audience because the number one rule in radio is always know more than your audience. Know what's going on before they do so you can tell it to them, right? So we start planning the show the day before, and then I'm up at 3 a.m. every morning, every single day.
You have to be.
Every day.
Time to make the donuts.
Right. So I'm up at 3 a.m. Show starts at 6, and then I don't leave till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's a 14, 15-hour day sometimes. I'm planning the show. So everything that we talk about, we know exactly what we're going to talk about, how we're going to deliver it. Yeah. So say we talk about Popeye's chicken. Right. You can, if you know that you're going to talk about Popeye's chicken, you can have somebody come and sing a parody song about Popeye's chicken. Right? They call it the extra 10%. Well, how can you elevate? All right, so we're going to talk about the Popeye's topic here. How can we take the Popeye's topic here? How can we elevate each individual topic? Right. And that takes planning, man. You got to plan it out. So you got to we put a lot of time into planning the show out. Yeah.
You got to meet up more.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm just giving all the secrets, bro. We're supposed to do this off the live.
You are number one.
Oh my God, bro. Let me drink this overly expensive water real quick, bro. Yo, my man Daniel came in here, was like, hey, dog, I got you some water. It is essential overachieving H2O.
I want to get the best of the best, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I feel like Superman drinking his water right now.
Overachieving.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So, man, I appreciate you definitely coming on. You did not have to come be a guest.
Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate you inviting me, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, man.
So who's gonna win them all? Cardinals or Lions?
You already know what it is, bro. Bird Gang all day, every day.
All right.
Don't disrespect me like that, dog. Bird Gang, my guy
Detroit gonna like that when you get back home.
Look, the thing is, you got to know where you are. They know I'm a Cardinals fan. I don't lie. But I don't go on the air disrespecting the Lions. I just said the Cardinals was gonna win. I ain't say nothing about the Lions.
I mean, you a dedicated fan.
I am, man.
I will say neither team have heard of known what a Super Bowl is since Super Bowl has been began.
Hey, but we made it. We made it to the Super Bowl.
I can't say that. Yeah, the Cardinals did make it once. The Lions, not so much.
Yeah, man.
But
good over there.
no, they have a good team, good quarterback. Yeah. Stafford's still the quarterback, right? Yeah.
Who?
Matthew.
Who?
And he's still the quarterback.
All right, before we get out of here, let's get into some segments before we call it. We've been rocking the show. Our first season 2, episode 11. You know what I mean?
And I apologize for talking too much, guys.
The show was about you.
This
number one.
This episode was. Man, with the number ones, man, you gotta stop. Next to mama be like number 8. I'm like, nah, you jinx me, bro.
No, man. Yeah, I love your rise. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a role model. What we're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother.
You want to start with the sister social?
Sister social is whack this week because I don't have Tita with me. All I got for us is the meal of the week.
The meal of the week.
Yep, because I didn't prep. I didn't know ahead of time. Today, Tita wasn't gonna be with us. Yeah. No, last night. That's when I found out.
All the excuses. I hear you.
Hey, look, I'm blaming Tita. Okay, she ain't here, so she can take all the blame.
All right.
But now for this week, I have crispy potato tacos. It's like a vegan tacos, but you can also make them for breakfast too.
Don't make that face over there.
Crispy, what kind of taco?
They're crispy potato tacos.
That sounds fire.
They are good. They are good, man.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
So we make them with eggs and potatoes, but it's the same thing.
In the mornings, what I'll do is take potato, peel it, cut it, dice it or whatever.
Wait, slow it down when you say it. Hold on a second.
You know how like when you peel potatoes in the morning?
Yeah.
So I peel my potato first, and then I'll dice them up into small chunks, and then after that I'll put them with some salt and pepper, garlic powder, mix it in, and then I'll put them in the skillet. But the recipe, this one, it calls for adding cumin and paprika to it also to give it a little extra kick.
Okay.
And then
you
just pan sear the potatoes until they get crispy, just like regular
crispy.
Just make regular crispy potatoes in the skillet.
They got to be crispy though.
I ain't eat breakfast this morning, dog.
We ain't eat breakfast either. So
what y'all trying to eat after this? What we doing?
But you do that, and then you can just scramble some eggs.
You got Gello's attention.
Scramble.
No meat in it?
No meat.
No meat at all?
No meat at all. And then you just in the morning, just scramble some eggs with the potato, scramble your eggs separate from the potatoes. And then you can add avocado, pico de gallo,
oh, you
salsa.
fancy avocado. You know how expensive avocados is?
Avocado ain't number like $1.
$1 for one. You need at least 3 just to make some dip.
True. But unless you get the 5 for $5 bag.
And they got those. I need to find. See, this is what I need to go shopping with my wife, man. I need to go grocery. She always did the grocery shopping, so I don't be knowing about.
We always know all the tricks to the groceries. Yeah. We know how to shop on a budget.
Man.
Yeah.
But no, I really don't know how to shop
right.
on a budget.
People not allowed to shop no more. I told you, I do the Walmart delivery now. We sit there and we select.
Meticulous. Yeah. There you do it.
She'll be in there for like
but yeah, you do, and then whatever tortillas you like. Corn, flour.
Corn is the best.
Corn is the best.
Corn is.
I don't know what eggs and potatoes though. I think flour would probably be better.
I'm telling you, it's good.
Flour is good too. That's what I usually do when I do the breakfast tacos. I usually do flour.
Like
but I'll do corn too because I buy both because he likes corn. I like flour.
Yeah, I like the corn.
Hey, y'all balling, man. How can I be like y'all when I get older? Y'all get both flour and corn. We only getting corn in my house.
And then he likes sriracha with his tacos or a little salsa to dip his tacos in.
It's the best, bro.
It is.
It's the best.
Do that.
You put sriracha in water, it's delicious.
Man, it's so
good. And then that's it.
That's it,
like
man.
That's easy. That's super simple. Yeah.
Real simple. It's like, and it take all of 30 minutes for me to make it.
Damn.
I don't know about making it though. You don't want me cooking. Everybody get a salmonella poisoning if I cook.
With some potatoes.
Everybody, bro. I don't even think salmonella in potatoes. Somebody go get it.
But yeah, it's real simple. You could do a breakfast, or you could do a dinner.
Brunch.
Yeah. Take the potatoes out, or take the eggs out and do it for dinner. Just have vegan tacos.
Yeah.
I need to try that, man.
We try to do a lot of meatless things, bro. To try to do meatless.
Really?
Yeah, because I was talking to someone online, and they was talking about why are we not eating meat if it's not healthy? I'm like, well, because we can't sustain the amount of meat that we're eating. So it doesn't matter in the fast food restaurants, we're talking about a fast food restaurant.
Right.
Too. And she's like, why in fast food restaurants, these vegan patties, why aren't they healthy? You're eating at McDonald's and Burger King.
Right.
Do you really expect these people to give you healthy food?
Right.
The mission is to get off the amount of meats that we are eating right now, man. We can't
meats or
just meat,
Meat, period.
Yeah.
Because it's bad for the environment, number one. And we cannot sustain this for 100, 200 years. We're not going to be able to keep eating the amount of meat
That's real.
that we're eating right now. Period. Because we just can't.
That's real,
we can't
bro.
sustain it.
Yeah.
And energy-wise, the amount of energy and the amount of O2 gas, CO2 gases that the
meat
beef
puts out.
and they put out with the beef, and it's just them because they're farting or whatever. But that also is helping heat up the planet, which is also becoming a problem for us and that also in the Amazon. That's the reason why they're burning so much land down there, because they're trying to make land for farming and grazing for the animals to be able to feed people.
Wow.
So we're killing ourselves to try to feed ourselves, which is not sustainable.
That's crazy, man.
Definitely.
I never knew that, bro. I never even thought about that.
So we definitely need to switch it up. Oh, it's
Red
great.
meat.
You ain't never. I
Meat is
drove past
good.
Little Miss the other day. I was like, damn, I'm about to stop, but it was closed, so I couldn't.
it's so
Miss
good.
Barbecue, fine.
But they only stay open to like what, 5 or 6, right?
They yeah,
When they run out of meat.
When they run out of meat,
Yeah.
That, which is so dope.
I made a video about Little Miss Barbecue.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that one too. Bro, I'm telling you, I watch every review, dog. I be behind the computer screen laugh.
Oh man, that was the middle of the week.
Middle of the week.
Middle of the week.
It's hungry out here.
All right.
Let's talk. Just do the word on the street news. You know, we just word on the street news. We talk about our news stories, entertainment.
Okay.
So we have a New Jersey woman tortures man's house after booty call wrong.
Yeah, talked about this.
So basically, she received a message from the dude telling her to meet him at his place at 4 a.m. She goes. She knocks on the door. He don't answer the door.
What?
He's knocked out asleep.
What?
She banging on the door. Still banging on the door. He still.
What?
He curved
So
out.
she
snoring.
burns the house
Catches
down?
He's catching some good Z's, man. Right? And then she said, she get mad, you know what I'm saying? She's like, start saying things like, I see you want to die.
What?
Yeah, these was all texts that she was sending to him.
Crazy.
Yeah, she texting him and saying it out loud.
So this was, if there is a God, it was faith that he was asleep, right? Because he would have had sex with her. He'd have been stuck with her forever.
But he already did. See that?
He called her to come over
For a booty call.
But he did already. That's why she acting the way. But I'm telling you, it's called the whole thing syndrome, right? That's what happens when. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But it's what happened when you give them the whole thing. You can't give them the whole thing. You got to be quarter of the way there because the whole thing they start wanting to burn the house down.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's the whole thing syndrome, bro. Learn your lessons. Stop giving them the whole thing. If you're not finna wife her up, don't give her the whole thing.
Yeah.
You find yourself with your house on fire.
But dog, I've been there before though, man. I fell asleep, but the girl robbed me. She took all my money, man.
Oh, damn.
I woke up with all my money gone.
Damn.
To pull the Cardi B on me.
So she put you to sleep on purpose to rob you?
We were supposed to be getting busy, but I was too drunk and blowed. So I ended up passing out.
She's like, I'm finna get something out of this.
She's like, fuck this nigga. You went to sleep on me.
So I woke up with my pockets looking like rabbit ears.
She body searched you.
Got me, man. Man, I was out.
Yeah.
Super out.
So mad.
As far as talking about giving back in communities, I want to touch on some hip hop artists or hip hop community artists, R&B artists as well. They actually give back to the community. I want to touch bases on that. Little Uzi Vert agreed to pay a college students $90K tuition.
Yeah, that's dope.
There's actually a video of him asking them about it. Like they were walking somewhere.
It's like a Macy's or something, right?
Macy's or something.
Yeah.
And he said, can you help me with my tuition? Later on, he inboxed Lil Uzi. That was me.
That's awesome.
And he paid it up. SZA helped ill fan get a new kidney.
Wow.
They've been cool for a while and helped her get a kidney.
That's dope.
Trey Songz bought diapers for a fan to ask if he could buy some diapers for her baby. A direct message and a whole bunch of boxes of diapers.
Wow.
Khaled raised $500K for the El Paso shooting victim.
Wow.
Jordan Lucas pledges to give single mothers $500 per day in September.
Wow.
Every day. He sending it to him. I know Rock Nation NFL. That little situation going on right now.
A lot of people have mixed feelings about it.
And opinions about it, but Rock Nation and the NFL program donated $400K to Chicago youth,
and that's all that matters to me.
And DMX also paid for families back to school sneakers.
Hip hop having some positive influence
instead of
negativity. I like that. I love to hear that.
Definitely. And then a new Texas law makes it illegal to send unsolicited nude photos. So
you can't send nudes to nobody.
Yeah, in Texas.
They don't ask for it. You can't send them.
So unsolicited.
Yeah, so it took effect this month.
So what if you make a mistake? It's so easy to make a mistake.
Send me a nude.
Yeah, you can't be unsolicited. No, you can't be.
Like Joanne, she made a mistake.
Yeah,
she could have went to jail. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's a Class C. It's a Class C misdemeanor for the maximum of $500.
But not many men are gonna turn a woman in for that. Like, you know.
But there it is, right there. I get an unsolicited nude. I'm a married man. I love my wife. But if I get a nude, I'm like, it's a nude.
That's going in the memory box.
If I send Tita something and she ain't asked for it,
if she wants to.
If she wants to.
Wait, no, but she's your wife though, right? Y'all married.
She's my wife.
I think it would probably get thrown out.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's your wife.
When she tripping,
No, you know, Tita be wild sometimes.
That's crazy. They lax their gun laws.
Yeah.
This is the crazy things about Texas. They laxed their gun laws last week after their 7th mass shooting.
Right.
But let's tighten up our sex laws.
Right.
You know, that's the problem that's killing.
Porn's a mental health issue.
Oh man. Dude.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm here to tell you right now. I got a mild porn addiction and I'm doing just fine. I'm okay.
Y'all know I was just fucking with y'all.
I don't have bad credit. I'm not no criminal record. I'm perfectly fine, man. It's mild. It's very mild, but I'm living. I'm making it through.
Mac Miller's alleged drug dealer charged for selling him the fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Is that even fentanyl?
Fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl. And so the guy that sold him the.
But that's normal though, right? That's normal. That's not abnormal that happens.
No, it happens. Definitely
yeah, it definitely happens. If they catch the seller, you are done.
Yep.
What's crazy is that's gonna have a domino effect because doctors are gonna start getting arrested now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They should be.
Well, they get kind of a free pass
with that malpractice thing and all that. Yeah.
Some of them have been charged with
overprescribing,
overprescribing and abusing.
And they only started charging people because of the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah, Michael Jackson and Prince too, right?
And Prince, both of them doctors. LA man charged in disappearance of girlfriend after he openly rapped about it. In the first
I was so happy he wasn't black, man. I was.
You was like, yes.
What? Like, who raps about stuff like that?
A black dude.
Yeah, he was going in though.
Yeah.
Was the rap at least cold? Was it like? Was it good? It was terrible.
It was a drunk.
They shouldn't have gave him the microphone.
And he rapped about killing his.
Yeah.
What a dumb.
He put her in. He buried her. I was like, wow.
Stupid.
Wow.
He was trying to get that kid. He couldn't have done it on purpose. He was trying to get caught.
Dude.
He couldn't have been that dumb.
And it was a freestyle?
Yeah, it was a freestyle.
Yeah, I dug her up.
No, he didn't write that. It was off the dome for real. Not one of those New York freestyles.
It wasn't one of those ciphers with name. Yeah, okay.
He really was off the dome.
Y'all want to know what happened to my wife at 2:39 a.m.? I killed him.
And they was looking at him though. You seen the video?
Yeah, people were looking at him like, really? Are you really saying this right now, bro?
So now he's been investigated.
A police officer or somebody sitting around.
Yeah.
They was like, hold on, wait. Is this real story he's telling us right now?
Well, he was already under investigation when he was spitting the rap. So
stupid.
He's just extra
y'all got me
stupid.
dying over here, man. Michigan couple who won $500,000 in a lottery in 2016 arrested in a string of burglaries.
I saw that.
They blew all their money already.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think. You get like 270 out of that?
Yeah,
that can go quick.
Now, so they probably got like 250, 270.
Yeah.
So now they just set their bonds to 50,000 each.
Wow.
No, they ain't getting out.
So.
Well, they say though most of the people who win the lottery are broke within 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Dead too.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy, man. It's not good luck to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj announces her retirement.
Yeah.
She announced her retirement. I think the funny thing about this is the people who are because she want to start a family. Don't you want to have a baby?
When has music stopped people from making a family?
And when do rappers retire? Right. Rappers you don't make an announcement. This ain't the NBA.
She thinks she's short.
Yeah, you don't get no injury.
Too Short did retire like 50 times though. He did. He had this is the last album. It's like he made 20 more after that. Like so he.
I'm glad she retired.
She already coming back. Didn't she say she was coming back on Twitter or something like that?
Well, she said she's gonna talk about it
on her show.
Radio. So people are taking pictures of her and her boyfriend or fiance.
Oh, yo,
I
saw she in the air like.
Yep, y'all see the one where it looked like she was holding her own thigh. Like how? Y'all forgot to crop dude's hands out the picture.
Well, no, their hands right there. I do want to shout out LA. But now pay homeless people $15 an hour.
Yeah,
Skid Row.
That's cool.
So they've been doing
that's
work over
dope.
there.
That is dope.
They've discovered like 3,000 needles been removed.
It's terrible.
And they did a lot of stuff over there.
It's terrible, man.
That's dope.
They lead the country in homeless, and California as a whole, they lead in the country in homeless. They have most of the population of homeless.
Wow.
When you think about homeless, you have to think about them because they are definitely synonymous with homeless, and they're not doing much about it either. And they had a chance to pass a bill to make a bill where you would make the rent fair rent laws, for they wouldn't be able to gouge people when they have to make rent fair for people in the area. That did not pass. People did not vote through, so their homeless is just steady multiplying. Yep, not going to go anywhere.
People can't afford to live in the apartments. How you have a 1-bedroom apartment and it costs $3,000 a month?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
A 1-bedroom. It's barely going to be 1,000 square feet.
Yeah,
if that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna charge me $1,000?
Yeah, they have problems. They have issues right now. So
that's your word on the streets.
Word. I guess we're gonna jump into the lean perspective real fast to end it off. I don't want to do too much. We don't have too much time, so I'm just gonna go into. We got a 28-year-old woman and a 38-year-old man were arrested Sunday afternoon after agents discovered a cooler containing meth that was disguised as brightly colored bags of frozen ice pops. So they were really bright colored, and they look like ice freezer pops. So they got caught. Police have also arrested a woman suspected of stabbing 3 people during an altercation Thursday in West Phoenix. LaDama Hamilton, 22, was charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of aggravated assault. Police said the incident occurred about 4:30 p.m. near 83rd Avenue and Palm Lane. 3 victims suffered stab wounds. Man, pretty ridiculous. I want to get more into the story, but I don't want to leave it to next week here. Have victims were taken to a hospital where Willie Rise, 20, were pronounced dead. The 2 other males, a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old, had life-threatening injuries from the beds. Really bad situation. Another man in Tempe was found with a gunshot wound to the head near University in Harding Drive last Friday night. 40-year-old man was taken to nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. Detective Greg Bacon, spokesperson for Tempe Police Department, wrote in an email Friday. They said they responded to shootings at 7:30 p.m. And that's where they found the gentleman.
Jesus.
Then I like to talk about these things because my whole perspective is that I think that Phoenix gun laws is a little too lax, and I always also want to put in stabbings because I don't think that gun laws will take away all crime, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen. And I know that gun laws is not going to fix everything.
That's right.
But I do believe that our laws here are too lax, and the open carry system leads to more guns, more killing. And I think that we need to open eyes on that. So I always try to every week. So that's the lean perspective. This week's kind of quick, but that's where we're going.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all.
show.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, brother.
Boss, man. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you guys, man,
Thanks,
for inviting me, man.
Definitely, man.
We'll come back anytime, man. I know I talked a lot, but you know, that's what happens when you invite a radio personality to come sit down with you.
We want that.
Just run their mouth.
Do want to get a shout out to Taylor Crown. He's got a new project out right now, EP.11. So you check that on all streaming sites.
Cool.
He's definitely got actually a pretty dope project. I actually like that.
Taylor Crown.
Yeah, shout out to Mega Ran. He's on tour with Sky Blue Bomber tour. He'll be in Tucson on September 10th. Okay. And then September 11th in Phoenix, Arizona.
Always on the move. Doing big things, man.
Worldwide, man.
Right, worldwide, man. Congrats.
Shout out to waywardkid.com. Shout out to
iRock.
Shout out to Gello Show.
Thank you, brother.
Man. Drop them likes on that Facebook page. Stop playing.
Share.
And share.
Right.
Appreciate everybody watching. DanYo&Tita podcast. We out.
We out. Next week.
Holla, holla.